All right, we're back. We're back in action. So we're gonna let you guys get on here. Let's see if I can get Carl on here too. Do you want to tag Eric in the video? Yes. All right, Eric's tagged.
Very cool. Let's move it over a little bit.
Which way?
There you go.
Back. Like that. What's going on, guys? There's Carl. Let's see if we can bring Carl on camera. Bring Carl on camera. Bring Carl on camera. Carl. How does this work?
Oh, there I am. What's up, guys? What's going on? I'm trying to figure this thing out.
This is pretty cool. It's 2018, man. All this technology, we don't know how to use it, man.
Yeah, I don't know how to use it. This is the first time I'm doing it.
All right. We got 11 viewers. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's going on, everyone?
So, guys, as you know, I have a credit repair company called GK United, and I have two guys here. You can see Carl and Eric, who do all the credit repairs for us. Eric, the Latino community. Carl's been killing it, and what our goal is to empower people, our friends, by helping them get better credit score to be able to buy houses and cars and just live a better life. So we're going to do a little bit of credit score pillars of success, the 6 things that you need to know about your credit score tonight in the next 10 minutes here to help you guys. Now, keep in mind, how do you guys feel about giving another credit repair away?
Great.
I feel
all right with that? All right. So, like, share, and comment on this video, and guess what? We're going to give another free credit repair away, okay? So I wish we would have posted that on there, but hey, you guys, I'll say it every few minutes. So, guys, let's first talk about credit card utilization, Carl. So I was asking Eric, this question. When you're doing these credit repairs, credit card utilization is basically the amount of credit somebody has, right? The limit.
Correct.
And from what we've studied and what we've been taught, anything less than 30% is great, and then anything less than 9% would be somebody probably with an 850 credit score. What are you seeing out there when you're doing these credit repairs? What kind of utilization numbers are you seeing? Are most people under 30, under 9, above 30?
No, most people are pretty much maxed out, it seems, when they call for credit repair. That's one of the things I direct. When I access their credit reports and I assess everything, I'll look at their utilization. A lot of people can't afford, if they have a $10,000 credit card and they have it maxed out, they can't afford to put $7 grand to get down on there. So what I'll do is I'll suggest them to open up another line of credit and try to do a balance transfer, or even ask that bank.
With 0%, right?
Yep, ask that bank for like a little bit of a limit increase to help get them down there. But most people are usually maxed out.
Okay, Eric, are you seeing the same kind of things?
It's typically the same thing. It's either maxed out or, unfortunately, missing payments and things like that. Absolutely.
So maxed out credit cards is really bad. From what I believe, it's just as bad as not paying your credit card. Would you agree?
Definitely, because it makes them think the imminent possibility of claiming bankruptcy, because as soon as you miss 2 or 3 late payments on a credit card, it'll notify all the credit card other companies that you're missing payments, and they'll immediately drop your limit down to wherever you're at presently. Or they'll actually close the card on you so that they can do a judgment against you and not lose their money in a bankruptcy case.
Awesome. Okay, so guys, that's the #1 pillar, credit card utilization. So you want to have great credit, keep your expenses less than 30% of what you have. So that means if you have a $10,000 credit limit on your cards, make sure you don't go over $3 grand. If you want to have an 850 credit score one day, you're going to have to keep it at 9%. So to do that, you really need to increase your line of credit also. Carl, how do you recommend people increasing more lines of credit or having a higher number?
Well, what I will do is I will look at the banks that they already have accounts through, and I'll look for banks that they've never done business with. Say somebody has a Bank of America and a Wells Fargo, I'll refer them to Capital One or to like Elon or to Barclays or another bank that has good offers right now, like 0% introductory offers, depending on what their score is, what I think that they would be eligible for, and then the bank would approve them. So that'll actually give them a little higher line of a credit availability, which will bring that debt ratio down under closer to 30%.
And the inquiry really shouldn't affect it, correct?
No, inquiries, people are worried about inquiries too much. It doesn't really affect your credit score that much. I mean, anybody out there that's buying properties or cars or any stuff like that, you're going to have inquiries. I mean, it's part of doing business.
I mean, if you're going to be an entrepreneur like me, you're going to have at least 20 inquiries. Yeah. I have over 20 because I'm constantly buying things. So let's talk about age of history of the credit line. So the average, this is the oldest account that you have on file, plus the average of all your credit cards. So to give a little instance, if you have one credit card open this year, and then a year from now you have that card, your age of history is 1 year old. If you open another credit card though, a year from now, Now they take the average of that, and now your credit history is only 6 months old.
Correct.
So
the thing,
5 to 6 years, 5 to 6 years is great. If you can have a credit history of 5 to 6 years is great, but if you can have 9 years or more, now you're looking at an 850 credit score. Can you fill us in a little bit on how to improve this age of history and how to not hurt it? Because sometimes people close credit cards they don't use, and then it hurts their credit history.
Definitely. You never want to close a credit card. Even if you have something that you don't use in a while, just put it away. And usually the bank will send you a letter saying that, you know, due to an inactivity, we're going to close it if you don't use it recently. They usually go 2 years before they do that. What you want to do is just use it, buy something small just to keep that account up and reporting so that you don't lose that history. Also, when you have 1 or 2 cards, your history will be pretty much true and accurate. But once you get up to 20, 30, 40, 50 cards like that, and you open a new one, it really doesn't affect your history that much because it's such a medium average. You may have a card that's 10 years old and 5 or 6 that just opened a few years ago.
Kind of like in college, if you have like 26 straight A's and you have like 26 A's and 21 B's and you get like a D, it's not going to really hurt your GPA.
Correct.
There's so many.
Yeah, there's so many good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like I know people that have 800 credit scores I know people that have 800 and some credit scores with 1 credit card. That's all they have on file. It's a $10,000 limit. And then you have people that have 800 credit scores with 30, 40, 50 credit cards. So it's, you know, the history will be a little bit different, but there's ways to get around it. There's other ways we can boost the score on top of that. That's one important thing of it, but utilization is most important in payment history and the type of accounts.
Okay, well, let's not jump the gun. Hold on. So you've got credit card utilization, which we talked about. We're talking about age of history. Let's talk about total accounts. You need at least 11 accounts to have great credit, and you need at least 21 or more. I have 42. How many do you have, Carl?
52.
Now let's talk about what is that exactly? What's that number of accounts?
Well, you want to have revolving accounts, which are available credit limits, like a credit card where you have about a top limit where you can possibly use, and it goes up and down on a sliding scale. Or you can have an installment loan, which would be like a car payment or a mortgage. It's a set payment every month. You also want to have other type of installment loans. Student loans are really good. HELOCs are really good. Lines of credit, anything like that that has a set monthly payment is actually really strong for your credit history too.
How many accounts do you have?
Right now, I have 13 actually.
13. So Eric's in the good range for him to have an 850 credit score when he's going to get to 21. So how does a guy like Eric now go from 13 to 21? What do you recommend? And
Look,
what do you recommend if you're buying a house still in the next 90 days? Let's answer those questions.
Well, if he's looking to, get a few more cards, basically look for banks that you haven't done business with because they're willing to give you a chance, especially if your credit score is good. They're going to sign you up, and there's always promotional. I'm signed up for a link where I find all the newest credit cards and the oldest ones that are out with 0% introductory offers for 12 to 18 months, 0 annual fees. And if you were going for a mortgage, basically FHA is the best way to go for people nowadays. It's 3.5% down. You need a 620 credit score and no open collections.
Nice.
A lot of people that are going conventional, you need the 20% down, and your rates can be based off of your credit score. But it's pretty easy to qualify for an FHA.
You shouldn't apply for credit cards if you're looking to buy a house. Is that correct?
Real recently, no, it really won't hurt you. If you're out and you're looking for an approval and they told you not to, yes, because then they don't want you drafting any money on it and going any more in debt, because they want to make sure your debt to income ratio is at a certain limit for a mortgage.
Okay. And just to recap earlier, if anybody just tuned in, if you have a credit card that you haven't used in a while, and they send you a letter saying, hey, we're going to close it for inactivity, you do not want to close that account.
Correct. Yeah, I've had
so many that credit card.
Exactly. I've had a lot of customers that have actually closed credit cards. They say they have too many. I'm like, no, don't. Just cycle them. If you have a wallet or a purse, whatever it is, put 1 or 2 in there, use it for 6 months, take it out, put the other 2 in there and put that away. And then you'll continually to build your payment history, and you'll be in good standings with that credit card company. And they'll send you promotional checks like Capital One sends a 0% transfer checks, or, frequent flyer miles, cash back, whatever that credit card offers. You'll be in good standing with them to get all those little promotions that they offer.
Speaking of payment history, go ahead.
Yeah, something I just wanted to actually add in there too. I'm going to drop a link at the end of this video for secure cards too, because I know Carl, I actually ended up being Carl's client. That's actually how I got involved in this, because I needed some repairs after my divorce. So, and I remember Carl had me you know, once he started repairing my credit, open up new retail cards with like either Walmart, you know, or Macy's, or sometimes secured cards are great too, because you could put very little down, you know, a few $100, like $300, which is what I did. I started another secured card, and then within the 6 month to 9 month range of me having great payment history, they raised my limit by $1,000 and actually gave me that money back. So that's another way for you guys to, you know, have your money working for you to start rebuilding your credit. Start opening up some secure lines of credit with some of the banks, or maybe your own bank if you don't have one already.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's talk about payment history. I mean, if you have one late payment, you're still at 98%. You're still going to probably have a good credit score. If you have 0 late payments, like myself, I have 880 on-time payments. You're probably going to have an 800 to 850 credit score. Carl, how important is payment history?
Well, it stands for 35% of your credit score. It's actually the most important factor. Credit is basically the ability to obtain services or money or goods and the intention to pay later on time. Quote, so if you send a payment in 5 days on time and you think, I sent it in, it's good, that's not what the creditor thinks. That one late payment's going to drop your score 75 to 100 points, and it takes, 3 to 6 months to rebuild that. You get 2 or 3 of them, next thing you know, you'll be down under 500. Doesn't matter how high your score is. So getting your payments in there on time is very important. If you have to set, a lot of people do online payments, and you got to set reminders in your phone. I'm old school. I like to actually get the letter in the mail, so I know, put a stamp on it, mail it out. There's no errors there involved. If you lose your phone, you lose all your reminders, then you don't know when your credit card payments and your bills are due. So it's better to keep a good backup plan.
How often do you guys see? It's hard to see here a little bit. How often do you guys? How many are you guys seeing when we're doing these credit repairs? Are you seeing a lot of late payments? Is that one of the things that we're dealing with a lot?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
I mean, typically, I don't know about you, Carl, but typically I find that more customers or more of our clients that start that habit of late payment history typically fall into that, and that's really what starts that bad credit history. And typically once they have a few months in there, it's hard to like recap and get back on track, right? And that's why we see all these cards get charged off or closed off by the actual, credit card companies.
Yep. Carl, how successful are you in removing late payments? Out of 100%, what would you say your ratio is?
I'd say a little over 60 or so. The most important factor with the late payment is if it's recently late, like in the last 2 or 3 months, you need to have a good excuse and a good relationship with the credit card company, and you need to be current to get that late removed. But if the late is from a year or 2 ago, then it's very easy for me to get removed. But if it's something really recent, you need to kind of have a good rapport with the credit card company. You need to be current when you try to get it removed. But there's a real good chance because they're not out to screw you.
Sure. Let's talk about hard inquiries. A lot of people are afraid of these things. I know that it says on Credit Karma. By the way, Credit Karma is an app we definitely recommend, right, Carl, to use?
Yes.
Credit Karma,
myfico.com, Credit Sense, CreditWise, any of those apps are good. A lot of the credit cards too.
3 to 4 inquiries is good. 1 to 2 is like would be like 800 credit score, 50. But I already have had 19 to 22 hard inquiries. I still had an 805. So can we talk about that?
Definitely. Just like I used before, an example with yourself. You're constantly buying properties. The bank's always going to run your credit, even though they know you have good credit and you have the earning potential to pay those. It's just part of the lending procedure. They need to do it. So there are banks that will reject you just because you've had too many inquiries in the last year. That's kind of like an automatic approval where you failed the application process.
Because I had too many in a 6-month period, and I think I got a letter about it, and I probably could have made a phone call and kind of made myself human.
Definitely, that's exactly what it is.
Myself rather than a machine, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to get the underwriter on the phone, get them to take a second look at it. You get another person on the phone, they take a second look at it. 9 chances out of 10, they're approvals. A lot of these things are submitted electronically on computers and stuff, so they get a generated denial because of too many applications.
How many inquiries do you have? Report, Carl?
I have about 11 or 12 right now.
Okay. Eric, you know how many you have?
I think I have under 20 last time I checked.
Okay. And so I don't forget, where can people pull a free credit report once a year?
Annualcreditreport.com is a free government website. You can pull your report once a year. Always print it or save it to a file because you only get one chance to look at it unless you lose a job, denied employment, denied credit. any reason like that, divorce, hardship, you can pull your credit again.
Okay, great. And saying something there, I was thinking of something there. I can't think of it now. Let's go to the last pillar of success for credit score, derogatory remarks. And this is one that we deal with a lot, getting a lot of these off. You want to talk about that?
Definitely. There's a lot of inaccuracies that are in the credit report. The original data furnisher will either send you a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day, and a 120 late notice. From there, it gets charged off and written off, and it's reported to the collection agencies. A lot of times when these reports are reported to the collection agencies, there's a lot of inaccuracies on there. And what I do is I use laws through the Fair Credit Reporting Act, HIPAA laws, and a couple other strategic ways to challenge them and make them prove various methods, from ownership to proof of services, to date of services, to address, to signatures on file, and the list goes on and on and on. And a lot of times they can't verify this information, and we can get things removed, even technically if they are yours, because of the inaccuracies. And under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you can't report something inaccurate on a credit report. So there's a lot of strategic ways to get in here and remove that.
You would say that the credit is more favored to the consumer than the company.
By far.
Yeah, and also anytime you want to look at your credit score on Credit Karma, or anytime you want to get a free credit report, it does not affect your credit score when you want to look at your own credit.
Not at all. It's a soft pull. It shows on your credit report that if you log on to Credit Karma or something like that, but it'll never affect it when you pull your own credit.
Sure. Now, what do you think about some people that go out there and they try to repair their own credit without being educated because somebody told them, hey, you can do it yourself? Don't you run into this situation where people have done that? It actually made it harder for us then?
All the time. Because a lot of people, on Credit Karma, you can dispute one item a month on there, or if they dispute it themselves, they won't do it the proper way. And depending on if they verify the one piece of information that they disputed, they'll verify it on their account. Then when I go in to dispute it, if it's been challenged twice or more, the credit card or the collection bureaus won't even allow a dispute without sending in new information, updated and new information to challenge that dispute. So a lot of times when people do that, it makes it harder for me.
So I kind of like to an analogy of being kind of like if you were being tried for a crime and then you were convicted and then you appealed it twice.
Double jeopardy.
And the judge said, not double jeopardy, that's being tried twice, but if you appeal twice and the judge says, listen, the third appeal, you're not coming back because unless you have some new DNA evidence, you can't come back. So it's the same thing with credit repair. You dispute it twice. The third appeal, they're going to say, sorry, unless you have some new evidence, right? You can't appeal. You can't.
And just to add on that, Carl, I mean, if you can give your take on like the debt consolidation stuff, because I know we've run into that a lot, with people who go to these debt consolidation companies and they end up making their credit even worse because they close all their accounts, and even though these people are making hundreds or maybe thousands of dollars in payments, it's not really going anywhere. Can you touch on that?
Correct. I've done probably over 10,000 credit repairs, and I have never had one customer that has used a debt consolidation company and had anything to say with it, let alone followed through for the term. Because what they do is when you go to a debt consolidation company, they basically close your accounts and they work with the interest to put it at a smaller amount where you make payments that you can't use those cards anymore. So first, your cards are going to affect your credit history. That's going to take it off of there as a charge off. Even though you're making payments, the balance will go down. It decreases the payment history. And usually 1, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, the person that's done the debt consolidation ends up claiming bankruptcy or just letting them get charged off and kind of just saying like, screw it, I can't pay this anymore, because in the first place, they were in a financial situation where they couldn't pay their monthly payments. So that's why they went into the debt consolidation company. And again, these debt consolidation companies don't work for free. They're not nonprofit organizations. They're in it to make money. So they do have a relationship with the credit card companies where they get a percentage of this, which I don't know what those numbers are, but I've never had anybody say that they've completed one of those programs and had anything good to say. Not at all.
So real quick, guys, if you're tuning in, please share, like, and comment on this video. We're going to give away another free credit repair. If you're looking to get your credit fixed, you can contact me, contact any of us. We charge $249. If you want to learn how to do credit repair yourself and start your own business doing it, we do have a webinar end of March. Just inbox us for information. It's the same price for that. A lot of great things going on here. We also have secure cards, as Eric mentioned. If you have no credit or you have somebody who needs to build credit, we can show them a way They can do that without getting a hard inquiry and without having any credit. Also, there's ways to take advantage of things with credit cards. There's credit cards that offer 150,000 miles of traveler's miles, where it's just like $1,500 in flights. People travel all over the world for free by getting the right credit cards. They give you traveler miles or credit cards or banks that cash because you do so many deposits. So if you're really savvy, right, Carl, you can actually make it. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, look at Best Buy. I mean, say if you're going to go in there, you're going to spend $5,000 on a TV or something like that. If you don't have a Best Buy card, you got good credit, George. You get a Best Buy card, you get 10-15% off, whatever they give you there. And when the bill comes, just pay it off. Or they give you the option, if you don't get the percentage off, you take a 0 promotional period, which usually doesn't work out for people unless you have the means to pay that item off in the 0% time frame. Because a lot, it happens after that, all that interest accrues for all those months, and then they tack it on, and then the original balance goes up. But yeah, all these companies are out there to give you little perks to do business with them.
You've taken advantage of getting more than one credit card from the same bank. That way you only had one hard inquiry and you were able to receive more than one credit card, correct?
Correct, definitely. You can do that through Capital One will issue a person up to 5 cards. I've done that with BB&T. I got 3 cards through them when I originally applied. Santander, I have 2. So yeah, you can get multiple cards off of one credit pull.
Awesome, awesome. So guys, that's a lot of information I wanted to give you tonight. Like I said, if you're interested in learning more, just reach out to us. We'll help you out. Hey, Carl, do you want to close with anything?
Basically, anybody that has any questions, we have our new website up, which everybody's watching us on. They can contact me through the website. There's an email on there. There's a phone number on there.
Our Facebook page, we got cut off, Carl. Sorry, guys. This is actually my Facebook page. So we do have a Facebook page, GK United LLC. You can go on there and you can like it. You can email us. You can message us. You can do whatever you want to do to get a hold of us.
I'll also post that in the comments section on this video also.
For the secure credit cards
and the secure credit cards and our Facebook link for our credit repair website.
But we want to give back. We want to also help people get ahead in life. And credit is everything, isn't it, Carl?
Definitely. I mean, they look at it for getting a house. They look at it for getting an apartment. They look at it for getting a job nowadays. It goes off of your car insurance. I mean, everything is everything. Your rates from your car insurance, everything is related off your credit history. So, maintaining that is very, very important. Even with certain certain companies won't hire you if you have charge-offs and stuff like that. And it wasn't like that 10 years ago.
I check credit history, credit report. So Eric, do you want to close on anything?
I mean, I just had to say that obviously, I'm fully bilingual. I speak Spanish. If any of you guys need a free consultation, that's one of the things that we definitely provide. First and foremost, before even going into charging you and rates and all that stuff, we obviously want to find out what's on your report. A lot of people don't even know what's on the report. That can vary between all 3 bureaus. Also, Equifax and TransUnion may not have the same thing that Experian has, for example, holding you back. So, if you don't know what's on your credit report now and you want us to give you a free consultation and find out what we can do to help you, reach out to us. And if you need anything in Spanish, reach out to me.
All right, guys. See you later. Have a great night. Let's get your credit.
All right, guys.
2018.